Hello everyone, how are you? It's been a little while, and as you can tell by the note on my title, a funny thing happened to me on my way to make this video. The funny thing that happened to me on the way to make this video was I got COVID. It is currently the 9th of October. Where has the month of October gone into? October, November, 10, 11, 12. Yes. Where has October gone? Last thing I recalled was September being about 3/4 of the way through and me planning on doing some stuff with a different ministry or two around the motorcycle. Tonight at midnight, my quarantine session will be officially over. That means I will no longer have to quarantine myself away. I called public health today here in the city of St. John, and I got to say they have been very, very, very kind. They have gotten back to me in decent time. They have helped me in many ways. Any questions that I had, they were more than willing to answer. So I asked them today, I called them up and left a message, and they called back because today is Saturday. There was nobody directly answering the phone, but they did check the message, and within a half an hour, I had a call back on my phone. Geez, you can't beat that anytime, any day of any week. So I asked the person here who called me back. I said I just wanted to confirm that when I can be free from the quarantine, and she said tonight at midnight. We discussed some things. She confirmed that she asked me about my symptoms. I was very honest, very open. As much as I hate quarantine, and those of you who know me know that I hate to be tied down to one place. As much as I hate quarantine, I'm not willing to leave quarantine until it's right and proper. One thing that this COVID situation has taught me is that it is very real. And I have some friends of mine who have been and possibly still are in ICU. My prayers are going out for you. And I'm sure you know that you've got a whole group of people praying for you. Now, I said a funny thing happened on the way to making this video. I got COVID. Here's one of the questions, and this is what I really want to ask. I think I may know this already. And those of you who know me well probably know I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, to say the least. So I am not interested in statements like it's the New World Order or it's the Antichrist or anything like that on my Facebook page. All that is going to do is make us look like a bunch of freaks. Okay? I'll be honest. There are things that have happened on the world stage that people take as, if you'll allow me to say, gospel truth, and if not gospel truth, the next best thing to gospel truth. That I can prove scientifically it was impossible to happen. So if people aren't willing to sit down and look at scientific evidence, they are not going to look at the conspiracy theories of a bunch of Bible-thumping nutcases. And that's what we will end up looking like. So if I see any comments like that, I don't care who you are. I love you in Christ, but I will remove the comment. You put something else on there that's at least bit snarky towards any government agency anywhere, I will not only remove the comment, I will remove you from my friends list. Equally so, if anybody gets on there and starts commenting how that, we're just a bunch of nutcases and yada, 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 I'll be honest, you just might get, your comment will get deleted and you might get blocked right away. I just don't want to start a row. I have a legitimate question. And the only way that I can get a possible answer that I like would be for somebody to enlighten me, for somebody to inform me, not with more of the same mishmash, but make a valid comment that I can sit down and really consider. Here's my conundrum. Having COVID, I asked the public health, I asked the person at public health or whatever department it is that's responsible for the administration and the question answering about COVID for people like me who've been diagnosed with COVID. I asked them, now that I've had COVID, does that mean that I can go into a restaurant without having proof of being full vaccination? She answered no, but you can go and start your vaccination shots right away. I said, okay, thank you very much. I'm not interested in it. That's my choice. My question, but she did tell me that this does mean that you won't have to take a COVID test for 3 months. So, my question is this. If having COVID for means that I won't be able to get it for 3 months, why is it that for the next 2 months I could not be granted some type of an injunction allowing me to go to the local Big Stop or the local Montana's or any other restaurant or any other social activity that I desire to be involved in without having to show proof of vaccination? If I do not need to get a COVID test for 3 months, then that should tell me there is zero risk of me getting COVID over the next 3 months. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And I'm not trying to be snarky. I'm not trying I'm just trying to understand this. So, because I've got COVID and I've just gotten over it, tonight at midnight, I'll be able to go out on my street. I'll be able to go get on my motorcycle, get in my van, get in my wife's car, and drive anywhere that anybody else on my street can. But why is it that if I don't have to get a COVID test for 3 months, why is it that I cannot go into a restaurant? If they can come up with documentation that I can get laminated, or if they can come up with documentation that I can take a picture of on my phone and present that to a local restaurant, why is it that they cannot come up with a documentation that says from this date to this date, this person can go into your restaurant? I do not know an answer. I do know that full vaccination does not mean you cannot contract COVID-19, and full vaccination also means, or also does not mean you cannot carry COVID-19. I have a good friend of mine. I wouldn't call him a good friend, but somebody that if I saw them across the mall, I would chances, unless I was really pressed for time or looks like they were really pressed for time, I'd walk over, say, how you doing, shake their hand. I'm familiar. I know their first and last name. I know their spouse's first and last name. I know some of their grandchildren, and I've met some of their great grandchildren. That's a fairly close friend. And this person has been fully vaccinated for quite a while. And this person was hospitalized because of COVID-19. If the vaccination works to the point where it would stop the spread of COVID-19, I'd get it in a heartbeat. I would be the first there. Because the last thing I want to do is carry any sickness to anybody. Because I hate sickness. Believe me, I have been on medication over half of my life. Since I was 19 years of age, I have taken medication every day of my life. I hate sickness. And I have a right to hate it. But no, I'm not going to ask that question. If there's no danger of me getting COVID-19 for the next 3 months, why is it I cannot go into a restaurant, sit down, and have a simple cup of coffee? Please feel free to comment on this. Keep your comments respectful. If it doesn't make sense, go ahead, say it doesn't make sense to me. Put some question marks in there. Not a problem at all. But please keep your comments respectful. I am not interested in turning this into a crapshoot. I'm not interested in throwing mud at anybody, and no politician, no government policy. Certainly, I am not against any of the frontline healthcare workers. In regards to my experience getting COVID diagnosed and all of this, I was into the hospital at St. Joe's here 3 times. 2 of those 3 times, when I went in, I had been advised by public health to quarantine for 14 days. So I was in the midst of the quarantine during that period of time. So the ladies who served me both times, very polite, very friendly. I walked in with my mask on. I told them first thing that I had told them was, I've been advised by public health to quarantine because of COVID-19 exposure. First one, they asked me to step outside until they could get a room for me. It was embarrassing, but you know what? It was what it was. The ladies weren't comfortable with me being there. I wasn't comfortable with being there. The second time they had a room set up and they could take me right into it. All of the doctors, the nurses, the LPNs, when they came in to my room to check me out, dear Lord, they had to wear a hazmat suit. And this is part of their everyday work. So I have the utmost of respect, and I will not tolerate anybody disrespecting our healthcare workers, because you have no idea what they go through. The person who had to stand out there and ask those same stupid 15 questions 1,003 times a day, my word, what a job that they have to do. So if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off to our healthcare workers, our frontline people. You do an awesome job. I just don't understand some of the science behind the rules that we all have to enforce. And that's what I'm trying to do, expand my understanding. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Please comment onto it especially if you have any insight at all, no matter how small. I want to hear it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. God bless.